I borrowed this machine from a friend, and I'm hoping that we can get it put together because later on we want to make something with it. Have you ever seen a machine like this before? They make some really good things. Let's see, this is the cord out here, and these are all the parts, so we've just got to get it put together. You see if you can help, okay? Now, okay, let's see. Well, this probably goes on there. Let's see. Okay. Now, I wonder maybe if that goes like that. That doesn't go inside there. Well, maybe I'll just... You know, my friend uses this, but this isn't looking quite the same way that she does it when she does it. I don't know. It doesn't seem to go this way. That doesn't... No, I hear somebody coming. Let me just go see who it is. Oh, Dr. Neblett.
Hi, Janice. How are you?
I'm fine, but I'm having a problem. Would you be able to take some time and come and help?
Sure, I can come on up.
Okay,
I'll be there
thanks.
in a second.
Okay, come on up. It's Dr. Neblett, and I think he might be able to help.
It's so good to see you again. Come up for a visit, my friend. There's so much to do. I have so many things planned for you. We'll laugh and we'll play. We'll sing and we'll pray. I'll tell you a story or two. And we'll be friends, you and I. Yes, you and I and Jesus. I'm happy you're here once again. It's so nice to have you as my friend.
Dr. Neblett, do you mind if I just take a minute and explain the mystery word first?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. When I'm talking, and sometimes when you're talking, we say words that are called keywords, and they come up on the screen right over down there.
Okay.
And then the letter that is important in the keyword jumps up and comes into the correct space of the mystery word or words as it is today.
Okay.
And the kids often follow along with a pencil and paper. Is today your day off or something?
It is. As a matter of fact, I was going to help a friend fix a tractor.
Oh,
What's going on
perfect.
over here? You've got
Well,
things
this
all
is
over
what
the place.
if you're fixing things, this is what I need help with. I cannot figure out how to put this together.
I have no idea. Do you have an instruction book or something?
Oh, I should look. Oh, she did. She sent the instruction books.
Oh, hey, this will help us.
Okay, now it looks like I did this. I got that right. And
Well, then you need that one, and this one goes on there.
Okay, right, like this, right?
Okay, and then that piece.
Okay, this one, okay. Like this? Okay.
And then it kind of goes on there.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
like this, okay.
And then that thing goes on the top.
Okay.
Oh,
Perfect.
hey, the instruction book helped us.
Oh, too bad I didn't get that out sooner. We were going to make something really good with this. Could you stay and taste it?
I can't stay right now, but I can come back later.
Okay, that'd be great. If you're coming back, would you mind picking me up a package of vanilla ice cream, please?
Vanilla ice cream?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure, I'll be happy to.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Neblett.
See you later.
Yeah, see you. Oh, hi, Kim. Come on up. It's my good friend, Kim, and she has laces with her. Now, you've never met laces, but you're going to enjoy this. Well, Kim, I'm sure glad you stopped by, and I'd like you to meet my friends.
Hello.
And Laces, we're just so glad you're here, too. How long have you had Laces now?
About 2.5 years.
So a long time, and she was just a little puppy, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of dog is she again?
She's a Lopso.
A Lopso?
Yeah.
Well, you fit your name, I think. You know, sometimes I know people are nervous about getting a dog or something because they think that the dog will be a problem. Can you, have you been able to teach her to do what you want her to do around your home?
Yeah, pretty much. She listens a lot better than when we first got her.
Mm-hmm. So, if you want her to stay somewhere, you can tell her to do that or, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When you were first teaching her to do that, how did you accomplish that?
When she would do what we asked her to, we'd give her a doggy treat, and then if she didn't, we'd tell her no, and she learned what no meant and everything.
And if you were giving me advice, or maybe even some of my friends advice for how they should train a puppy if they get a puppy, what would be your biggest advice?
To be gentle, not to scold the dog or kick the dog or abuse her, and make sure she knows that you care.
So being gentle and kind.
Yeah.
I guess in a way, treating the dog as how you would want to be treated.
Exactly.
Huh, that's neat. Well, do you think Laces would show us any of the things that she knows to do?
She just might. Let's see. Can you sit there? Sit down. Good girl.
Oh,
Can you stay
good
there?
girl.
Stay there.
Good girl. Yeah, you knew what to do, didn't you? You know, Kim, I was thinking that I think people can probably learn a lot from dogs and how they learn to obey. And I was thinking that if you can teach dogs to obey, then we should be able to obey too.
Jack throws a bone, tells the dog to sit. He snaps his finger, says go for it. The dog runs out as fast as he can and brings back the bone just as Jack had planned. If you ask him to, a dog will do. If a dog can, I can too. Jack says quiet, tells the dog to lie. The dog scratches ears and wonders why. Lights go out, now he understands, and he goes to sleep just as Jack had planned. If you ask him to, a dog will do. If a dog can, I can too. If you ask him to, a dog will do. If a dog can, I can too.
Do you see anything hiding in these bushes? Look really carefully. Do you see it? It's a baby fawn. You know, God has given fawn and deer incredible instinct to know how to protect each other. The mother deer instructs the fawn to lay very, very still, and because of all the spots on his back, he can't be seen. And as long as he obeys and lays perfectly still, no scent will come off of him, and then his enemy animals won't be able to smell him. Eagles, dogs, cougar are the worst enemies for a deer, and a dog could come even so close and not even smell that little fawn. Or even bunny rabbits hopping by won't even smell the fawn as long as the fawn obeys and sits perfectly still. By the way, fawns have 300 spots on their back. Did you know that? And that camouflages them or hides them from danger. You know, there's another animal that has to obey too, and that animal gets a spanking if he doesn't obey, and that's a cub. When danger comes by, the mother tells the cub to climb up the tree just as quick as can be. But do you know, sometimes little cubs are disobedient, and if they're disobedient, then Mommy takes cub and turns him over her knee. He gets a walloping from his mother. And usually cubs obey, and usually once they get up that tree and see the danger pass by on the ground, they're glad that they climbed the tree.
If the mom tells the cub to climb the tree, the cub climbs up as quick as can be, sees the danger pass by where she's been. The cub is glad for the tree she's in. If a mom will ask, the cub will do. If a cub can, I can too. If the mom will ask, the cub will do. If a cub can, I can too.
Hey kids, if you love all the fun things you get to do with Janice and her friends, you'll flip over this. It's Janice's activity book. Loaded with fun, this book teaches scripture through mazes, puzzles, dot-to-dot games, coloring, and more. And the best part is, it's free! Let's take a look inside. The scripture on this page says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Now, let's circle the pictures that are the same. That's right, you've got the idea. There are many more fun-filled activities in this book just waiting for you. By the way, did I mention it's free? To get your very own copy, have your mom or dad write to Janice's Attic Activity Book, care of 3ABN, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 1-800-752-3226. Don't wait, order yours today.
Are you ready to make banana smoothies? How about you, Shantae? Are you?
Yes.
I wonder if you've ever had a banana smoothie. Have you ever had one, Shantae?
No.
I bet some of our friends haven't either, because not everybody has a machine like this. Why don't I show you both how to do it, okay? First, I took a regular banana and peeled it, got the peel all the way off, all the little strings off, and throw them in the trash. And then you put the peeled bananas into a plastic bag, and then you seal the bag really nice and tight. Then you take the bag and put it into the freezer for at least overnight so that the bananas can get really frozen hard. And then you're ready to go. But one thing that's important, if you do have a machine like this, it's always important that you have an adult do it with you. And you're great because you're with me and I'm an adult. Because there are little parts that you could get your fingers caught in and it could be dangerous. Are you ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you what your job is. You'll be pushing them through with that pusher, and I'll set the frozen bananas in for you, and then you can push. Are you ready for me to turn it on? It's noisy. Okay. Well, hi, Dr. Neblett.
Hi, I brought you your ice cream.
Yeah, you look like you're wondering why you brought it.
Yes, I am, since this looks pretty good.
It does. It's called banana smoothies.
Oh, this is the smoothie you were telling me about. Hey, that's really sweet.
Do you like it?
Well, I think my wife and kids will like it.
You don't like it?
Well, I don't like bananas by themselves all that much. Is there something else you could put in this to make it a little more interesting?
I have, in fact. I have right here blueberries. Did you like it, Shantae?
Oh, now, I like blueberries. You mean, what do? Do I just put them on top of my ice cream here?
No, I'll show you. Shantae, can you push again? I'll put some blueberries in. You watch. I think you'll like it this way. Well, do you want to taste it that way and see if you like it?
Well, now that looks interesting. This is very creative.
Oh, you know, I think that using natural foods is so fun because they're so pretty and they taste so good.
I think this is a lot better than that ice cream that you had me bring.
I know. I was hoping you could tell me about it.
Very good.
Try it, Shantae.
Can I read it for you very quickly? It says, milk, fat, and sugar, whey, they get that from milk, stabilized and emulsified by mono and diglycerides. That's fat. That's what that is. Cellulose gum, carabine gum, gar gum. That must be the stuff they make it gummy with, so it'll all stick together. And polysorbate 80 and carag. I can't even read that word. It's so long.
Oh.
You know what?
I can't even remember all those things you listed. Can you?
Can you imagine eating all of this stuff, preservatives? This is supposed to be a good dessert, right?
Do you know what's in this? Let me show you. Ta-da!
Just a banana. And I just saw you put those blueberries in there.
And now blueberries.
You know, this is the way to tell what's a good thing to eat. Have you ever seen, well, let me ask, Shantae, have you ever seen vanilla ice cream growing on a tree?
No.
How about a banana growing on a tree?
Yes.
That's the way you can tell what's good for you. If it grows on a tree or it grows out of the ground, that's good for you. Those things that I just read on the vanilla ice cream package, none of those.
They're not natural.
No, they wouldn't. I think that we're better off eating what God made for us because we know it's good for us and good for our insides than eating something that man made.
You know, I was thinking about it. Remember how we had trouble putting the machine together?
Yes, we did, didn't we? But when we read the instructions, we figured out just what to do. It's like when we follow the instructions that God gives us and we eat the right foods that God gives us, we are much better off than when we don't follow the instructions.
Yes, I agree. Well, I sure enjoyed watching the movements and jumps you did with your horse. That was great. How long have you been training horses?
Well, I graduated from college in '72, and I've been working at this even before that time. I've been at this 36 years now.
Wow, that's great. Now, as a riding instructor, you're not only training the horses, you're instructing the people how to work with horses, right?
That is correct. We've got students as young as 18 months out here riding. I think that's a little too young. And a lot of students come in between 3, 4, 5 in there. I think 5 to 7 is a good age to start them. This last year, or about 5 years ago, I was fortunate enough to have a lady that was, a young lady that was 89 years old.
Oh, wow. So you never stop learning, it sounds like.
No, I don't believe that you ever stop learning. I think in any profession, you're going to continue to learn all the way through life. And every day that goes by, I'm learning something new about behavior and animals, and it's been a very interesting job.
So even yourself, as a riding instructor, you say you keep learning.
Every day there's something new that I've learned.
So what are some of the principles that are important to apply to training horses and working with horses?
Well, I think in any profession, trying to be clear, making sure that you communicate concisely as to what you need from the animals and getting them to understand their job. You find the same thing in a workplace. It's hard sometimes for employers to communicate to their employees exactly what it is they're supposed to be doing. And with the horses, we're trying to do the same thing by rewarding them when they're real clear. For example, let's stop right here. And as soon as your animal stops, then rewarding him by loosening the reins and making it clear that he has done the right thing.
And so the loosening the reins is his reward.
That's his reward.
For what he did.
And it's trying to make it real clear to him so that he understands, and then he can relax just like we can relax.
And you use, it sounds like you use talking and body movements.
We use body language a lot to communicate. We use our voice. When we're on the ground, we're always using body language. We're always using as much as we can to communicate to make the process real clear.
What can you tell me about some of the movements that you instruct the horses to do?
Well, earlier we had worked in the upper field. We had demonstrated a leg yield and a shoulder in, some of the lateral movements that we use for stretching. We had accelerated and collected our gaits at the same time. We did some jumping, again, to show how you move a horse up and take a horse back to get him to the jumps correctly. And it's just little things like that that we use through our communication, body language, voice, to get our animals to respond to us. We could have been chasing cows, we could have been doing whatever, but it's all communication. Getting them to relax and understand their job and leaving them alone, letting them do it.
Wow, that's great. I've had such a nice time riding Scout's, just the nicest of horses, and I've learned a lot, and I think that there will be lots of children who will be more interested in working with horses now. So I thank you for that, and I guess we can keep going, hey?
Let's continue riding.
Okay.
If you say to your horse, hey, whoa, your horse will stop and will not go until you say, giddy up, my friend. Then your horse will go on his way again. A horse will do what you tell him to. If a horse can, I can too. A horse will do what you tell him to. If a horse can, I can too.
Well, Scout, I've got to go now. But why don't you meet me in the jungle forest, okay? God has made each animal different. Tell me what a mother beaver does to warn her family of danger. That's right, she smacks her tail. And those little kits just dive under the water right away, because if they don't dive under the water, they'd be in danger. Even bears, cougars are terrible enemies for beavers. Okay, now, what about the grouse? They don't have tails to smack like beavers do, so what do the grouse do? The mother makes a certain high call, and when she makes that call, the little chicks just freeze. Then she has another call to make, and when she makes that call, it's a little bit different than the first one. They all come running to her. God has made each animal have their own way of teaching their babies to obey. Even the chicks that you see in a barnyard, they know to obey. When mother hen calls, those chicks just come running, because if they don't get under her wings, they'd make a tasty meal for some hawk or something, and that wouldn't be good. Isn't it neat how God has given each animal the instinct to know to obey?
If the mother hen cackles loud and clear, the chicks come running just to be near. The farmer spreads the food around, and the chicks were glad for their mother's sound. If a hen will ask, the chick will do. If a chick can, I can too. If a hen will ask, the chick will do. If a chick can, I can too.
Did you know that one of the best ways to become a good friend of Jesus is by spending personal time with Him every day? Well, adults do that by praying and by reading their Bibles. But if you can't read, it's kind of hard, isn't it? Or maybe you just like listening to tapes. Well, here's a fun way to have your very own devotions every morning when you get up. Janice has made these morning time devotions for her kids and for you, complete with songs, prayers, and stories. For more information, have your parents write to Morning Time Ministries, Box 208A, Kitwanga, that's Kitwanga, British Columbia, V0J 2A0, or call 1-800-263-7671. Here's the number again, 1-800-263-7671.
Obedience, obedience keeps us well and happy. Obedience, obedience makes the world go round, keeps us safe and sound. You better look both ways on a busy street. Stay with your parents, don't overeat. Lots of rules we must obey. They lead us all to a better way. Obedience, obedience keeps us well and happy. Obedience, obedience makes the world go round, keeps us safe and sound, makes the world go round, keeps us safe and sound.
Are you ready for another story? Yeah! Now remember, there have been lots of unusual things happening in Longview Village, haven't there? First it was the cave, and then there were things like the boat disappearing and the horse.
Got tied up.
Yes, and the crackers and stuff being given to the widow. And then remember the life jacket, that guy who lost his nice life jacket, and then it came back on a nail by his door. And then remember Roy falling in the water when he saw the figure in front of the cave? Well, now it was time to go fishing because Oscar and Bruce had invited Roy to go fishing. Now Oscar and Bruce were really good fishermen because they went fishing all the time. And they were just catching all these nice fish, and poor Roy, he wasn't catching hardly any because he had never really been fishing before. But Oscar and Bruce were really nice, and sometimes when they'd catch them, then they would put them in Roy's pile and say, well, this can be your fish this time. And while they were fishing, as boys do, they had nice chances to talk and stuff. And of course, Roy, being the detective that he was feeling like, he kept asking them for any ideas, but they could never come up with any ideas as to how these things were happening. By the time they were done fishing, it was time to go home for lunch. And Oscar and Bruce said to Roy, they said, would you like to go fishing again tomorrow? And Roy said, well, I'd really love to, but my uncle wants to take my dad and I sightseeing for the next couple of days, so I won't be able to. So they said, well, okay, maybe we can go fishing again when you get back from your sightseeing. So Roy went home to his uncle's store, and he was so proud. He had these little fish that he had caught and some of the ones that Oscar and Bruce had given him, and he was so proud of himself. He went in there, and he hardly even got inside the door when his uncle looked at him. He said, have you heard the news? And Roy said, no, what? And if you can imagine this, old Sandy, he was one of the fishermen, and some time ago, this was long before Roy had even arrived, he had lost a brand new oar that he had. Now his oar was really special because right on the handle he had carved his name, S-A-N-D-Y. He had carved it right out of the wood, and so he knew it was his oar, and it was his favorite oar. He just really liked it, and I guess he had been out in a storm or something and he had lost it. Well, the night before, old Sandy had been sound asleep. And thud! Right on his chest. His oar had come dropping in the window, and the handle, the part where his name was, had gone thud right on his chest. Well, that woke him up with a start. And you can imagine that Roy was just as curious about that as anything. Everybody was. Well, they didn't have much time to talk about it because they had to get ready to go on a hike. And they went on a beautiful hike. And they went high up in the mountains and they could see all the views. Scotland is such a beautiful country. The ocean was this way, the valleys were this way. It was lovely, but I'll tell you, on the hike home, they were tired. And they decided to take a shorter way on the way home. And it was really late in the evening, probably close to 11 o'clock. It was pitch dark out when they were coming back to the village, and they came by old Peter MacDonald's house. And there was a light under his door. And as soon as he heard the footsteps coming by, he flung open the door and he said, "You people, you're never going to believe what happened." And do you know what? He had tear marks down his old wrinkled face. And Roy thought, well, he looks happy, but he has tears on his face. And then he started to tell them. He said, "You know, since Mary died, I haven't been able to keep my house very neat. And I kept meaning that I was going to have a regular cleanup day and sweep everything and put everything away. But I just never got around to it. And do you know, when I came home tonight, all tired and everything, when I came home, my house was spick and span, and there was a delicious supper on the table." And Roy's eyes just got bigger because he thought, who could have done that? And then poor Mr. MacDonald, he just kept right on talking. "And Mr. Wallace, it was such a good supper. I just have never seen the likes of it." Roy thought he smelled something, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. And next week, we'll find out more. Did you get the mystery words? A better way. You know, if we obey the little rules and the big rules that people have made and God have made, we will find a better way, won't we? Let's see if you promise and I'll promise too that until we meet again, we'll work towards making things better, okay? Bye for now.